It's a Joy English School. Yo, today is December 29th. Page 54 and 55. We have our sports article today, and it's called Let's Go Curling.
Yeah, 没错，今天到了我们体育活动体育运动的单元，我们要介绍的是一个很酷的。我第一次看到这个运动的时候是在加拿大，然后看到一群人在忙着刷地板，我说他们在忙什么呢？原来他们在玩的游戏是冰壶，好，它是保龄球还是溜冰还是大扫除啊？好，这是我们的 title.
It's a good title. So, I grew up close to Canada. I'm an American, and I didn't know watching curling was a weird thing. To be fair, there was not a lot of curling on television when I was a little boy, but I definitely knew what curling was. I didn't understand it. I didn't play it. But I knew what curling was, and I was surprised to learn that many people have no idea about the sport. But I grew up close to Canada, so like I understand maybe you live 美国的南部 because it's really hot there, right? Then why do you know what curling is, right?
没错，老师呢，他提到说，老师他住的地方呢，其实离加拿大很近，
真的很近，
所以说他很小的时候就知道有这个运动是冰壶。他虽然说在电视上没有常看到他，但他知道。那后来他意外发现到说，其实美国人蛮多人都不晓得这个运动的。他可能是也许是住在南部啊，美国南部啊，还很热嘛，也没有机会去了解这项活动。那我们今天就要来跟大家介绍一下这个有趣的活动——冰壶。
Let's go curling. It's like bowling on ice, perhaps, with a shuffleboard thrown in.A player crouches at the end of a long sheet of ice. They hold a stone, a large, heavy piece of granite with a smooth bottom. They then slide the stone down the ice, yelling commands to two other players holding brooms. Confused yet? Don't worry. Soon you'll be an expert in the wintertime sport of curling. Curling involves two teams of 4 players,who are led by a skip, or team captain. Each team member throws 2 stones per round. They throw from the hack, something like a runner's starting block, towards the house. The house is a big circular target, and the goal is to get your stones as close to the center as possible. While one player throws, 2 other players furiously sweep the ice in front of the stone,to help it travel farther and straighter. Meanwhile, the skip loudly shouts commands on how to brush the ice. At the end of each round, the team with the stones closest to the center of the house takes the points. The history of curling goes back to the 16th century in Scotland. It may have started as a simple pastime of throwing stones across frozen ponds during the long, cold winters.All
right, friends, let's begin by looking at our subtitle today. In what other sports can you throw stones at a house and get away with it?
好，这个 title 呢，这个 subtitle 很有趣哦。他说，到底是哪一项运动可以让你怎么样？Throw stones at a house and get away with it. 很多时候你会拍到说，如果说社区里面有一些废弃的这些房子的话，有些顽皮小孩会拿着石头去丢房子的那个窗户，砰打破，他们就赶快跑，对不对？好，这个叫做 throw stones at a house. 那 get away with it 意思就是说，今天你做了坏事，然后你就可以逍遥法外，然后不被惩罚，这叫做 get away with it.
So,I used to do this.
Oh.
So, yes, I'm a little bit of a naughty kid. But I didn't throw rocks. I didn't throw stones. I would throw pebbles. Now, even smaller, so a rock usually is the biggest. Then you have a stone, and if it's very smooth, we'll call it a stone. And then, 很小, maybe smaller than your fingernail. It's a pebble, P-E-B-B-L-E. And we would throw them on my friends' tents when they were sleeping, or...If they were sleeping, some of us would sleep in a tent, and they would sleep not in a cabin, not 前面的, there's no wall in the front. It's called a lean-to. And we would throw them on the roof because they're and they would hit the metal gutter and and they would want to sleep. And so we would throw them every few minutes because it was noisy and they would get mad.
You wake them up.
It was funny. So yes, I used to throw stones at a house and get away with it.
哦，原来如此啊！老师之前做过这种小顽皮小男孩会做的事情，但是这个地方呢，那个副标题很酷哦，因为这个地方的话，这个 house 刚好也是冰壶里面它的一个游戏里面的区域，叫做大本营。然后我们要丢的冰壶刚好也是石头做的，所以在这项运动之中，你有机会 throw stones at a house and get away with it.
That's right. This is a very clever subtitle too here. In English, we have an idiom. We have a phrase that says, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Think if your house is made of glass, we can see all your problems. And so when you throw a stone, you can break your glass walls very easy. And now your house has a big problem. This is really saying, if you are not a perfect person, then maybe you should understand that other people are also not perfect.
所以说今天的话，如果自己也不是很完美的，你不要去到处的去挑人家的毛病，这样的感觉。好，这样 people in glass houses 会让我
shouldn't
throw stones。好，就不要随便丢石头，因为自己也不完美。
Yeah, right. Let's get into our story now. It's like bowling on ice, perhaps, with a shuffleboard thrown in.
好，所以在这边的话，先告诉你说，到底是什么感觉冰壶游戏呢 ？It's like bowling on ice. 在冰上打保龄球 ，perhaps 说不定呢 ，with a shuffleboard thrown in。所以 shuffleboard 是一种游戏，叫做沙壶球，它也是在玩说，你今天怎么样能够把你要丢的东西距离那个目标越近越好的这样的游戏。
Yeah, perhaps here just means maybe. A player crouches at the end of a long sheet of ice. They hold a stone, a large heavy piece of granite with a smooth bottom. They then slide the stone down the ice, yelling commands to two other players holding brooms. Sorry, I know that was really long, but all of these sentences, you want to read them together. There's a flow to them. So Anthony will slowly translate this. I can reread if we need to.
没错。好，我们来看一下这个地方。他说 ，A player crouches at the end of a long sheet of ice. 好，在一个长长的冰层上面，有一个人呢蹲下来。OK。They hold a stone， 他们用那个 quotation marks， 就是说，他们手上拿了一个石头 ，a large heavy piece of granite。Granite 是花岗岩的这种大的石头 ，with a smooth bottom， 它这个石头的这个底部的话是非常非常平滑的。然后呢 ，then they slide a stone down the ice， 然后在这冰上就把这个石头就滑出去。Yelling commands， 好，就开始叫啊 to two other players， 另外两个人呢 holding brooms， 好，就是他们手上拿着这个像刷子一样、像扫把一样的东西，一直在他们叫说赶快扫啊这种感觉。好，它全部是这个样子。
Sounds like you're was it 你的班长 right? Just like your
快扫啊
！Yeah, 扫地，快点来。That's like your classroom, right?
Wow.
So let's look at the word crouch here. So number one, the word crouch and the word couch are actually related because they talk about bending your body. So when you sit on a couch or sofa, couch means to bend your body. Crouch is the same thing. 你的身体会弯。Now, the word crouch, we can also say to squat, S-Q-U-A-T-S. And you know those toilets that 你没有坐下面，你就是 those kind of they're in the ground toilets. I don't even know what they're called in Chinese.
蹲式厕所。
How? So those are called, in English, we call them Asian squat toilets because Americans, we do not have them in our house and we're usually very uncomfortable. So Asian squat toilets. We wouldn't call them a crouch toilet though. Right. Now the word stone, we could also actually call it a rock in curling also, but most people call it a stone. It's smooth. So in my mind, stones are smooth. So rock is not the best word, but whatever you want. Anthony, I have a Chinese question for you. I was thinking about this last night because I was like, granite 的中文是什么? I was like, oh, 那是那个花岗
石、花岗岩。
那个豆腐也可以说那个花岗的豆腐是一样的意思吗？
不一样。
OK， 不一样的意思。I just thought of that. I was like,
花岗，一个是花干，不一样，两个不同的字，一个是花岗石、花岗岩，有那个硬的那种感觉，但花干的话是豆干的干。
我应该在那个时候买的。I just like, oh, is this like
花干？No, it's different. 跟卤味花干不同。
卤味 yeah. 没错 I was like, oh, 真的 because I like to eat 花干的豆腐
Yeah.
So, there you go.
I know. I love that too.
All right. So, command is just an order. O-R-D-E-R. A command and order are the same thing. I would say an order sounds a little bit meaner. So a command, you can give a command to a dog, sit up, lay down. It doesn't sound too terrible, but an order sounds very strict.
Yeah, 没错。如果你用 command 这个字的话，代表是指令。但如果你用这个 order 的话，感觉命令，你不做，你给我试试看的那种感觉，听起来就比较严苛一点。
Okay, let's continue to our final sentence here. Confused yet? Don't worry. Soon you'll be an expert in the wintertime sport of curling.
Yeah, 他说 confused yet? 现在已经头一点昏了，搞不清楚了吗？别担心 ，Don't worry. Soon you will be an expert in the wintertime sport of curling. 很快的，你就会变成这个冬天的会玩的这个运动，也就是冰壶的专家喽。
All right, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be on paragraph 2. Okay, friends, it's time for more Enjoy English School. We're learning about the sport of curling, and we learned about the brooms, and they shout commands or orders. Let's talk about what they shout. It's really simple, and it's kind of a standard also. So, number one, if you want to sweep really fast, they'll say, hurry.
Hurry 就是快点。
And then if you want to slow down or stop sweeping, we'll say, whoa.
Whoa, 慢下来。
And then we'll also say yup, which means to sweep. Now, yup means yes, but I don't know why yup here means to stop sweeping. Can you just yell stop?
I don't know.
I understand hurry and whoa. Like whoa is like on a horse. Whoa. But why yup? Yup means Like, why does that mean stop? Yeah, It means stop.
Yeah, that's so weird.
That's a weird one to me, but okay. What's another good one you would say in curling?
In curling.
Yeah. Do you have any other good ones?
No.
Okay, I don't either. Okay. Now, why do they sweep in curling? Why do they use the broom? Well, actually, when they broom, what they're trying to do is melt the ice. The friction, that heat they make, makes the ice melt for a very, very short time. And that water is actually very slippery. This is the same as when you ice skate. When you ice skate, you put a lot of pressure on a tiny piece of ice, and it actually turns to water. And you slide on the water, almost like water skiing.
所以说今天如果说你在刷的这个过程当中，它其实是在对这个冰块有没有点像是增加摩擦力，去让这个冰突然之间变成水，让它就会减少它的摩擦力，它可以让这个石壶可以滑得更远一点。
That's right. Now, let's jump right into our paragraph. Curling involves two teams of 4 players who are led by a skip or team captain.
我们来看第一句话，他说 curling 这个游戏呢，这个它本身包含了2组，对不对？两队要互相去 PK 嘛。然后呢，每一队呢都有4个这个队员 who are led by a skip。所以 skip 的话，这其实是他们的主将 or team captain。它这个 team captain 的意思就是主将的意思。
Now this is really useful because team captain is also the same word as a leader on a boat. The leader on a boat is a captain, 你的船长, right? On a small boat, you don't have a captain, you have a skipper. And that's what this word here, skip, really means. It doesn't mean like the jump that you do, like the little kid jump. This is a skipper, S-K-I-P-P-E-R, a small boat captain.
所以说今天小船的船长也叫做 skipper， 刚好在这边 by a skip 就是主将的意思。
Yeah, and a skip is a small boat. Each team member throws 2 stones per round.
好，他就告诉你说呢，每一个队呢，他有机会一局里面他会丢2次石壶。
Now each跟 every 一样的意思 but each 感觉到它是加强每一次的。Let's continue. They throw from the hack, something like a runner's starting block, towards the house.
好，所以他现在就告诉你说呢，他们会怎么样 ？They throw from the hack， 他们有很多专有名词。这个 hack 指踏板 ，something like a runner's starting block， 就很像是你在赛跑的时候，它有一个起跑架的那个东西一样，从那个地方开始丢 towards the house。这个 the house 就是他们最后那个目标，那个 target， 也就是他们所谓的大本营。所以我们最开始的时候，我们在讲到说，你可以对这个 house 丢石头，而不用担心被抓到，其实就在讲这个 house。The
house is a big circular target, and the goal is to get your stones as close to the center as possible.
好，接下来告诉你说 ，The house is a big circular target. 所谓的 house 大本营呢，就是一个圆形的一个靶子。And the goal 目标呢 is to get your stones as close to the center as possible. 目标就是让你的石斛想尽办法，尽可能的靠近这个靶的中心，就会获得胜利。
Now this might sound funny, except if you're a big fan of like 1990s NBA. So if you watch a lot of old NBA videos on YouTube, you'll hear them sometimes say, take it to the house. When you take it to the house, it's a cool way of saying, like you run up really aggressively and you slam dunk with a lot of power. When you take it to the house in American football or NBA basketball, maybe even MLB, I'm not really sure. It means you score with a lot of style.
哇，所以说 then take it to the house 就是呢，你今天你很勇猛的冲向这个大本营，然后得分这种感觉。所以说今天如果你这种很帅的方式得分的话，大家会说 take it to the house， 用这种方式。
That's exactly right. That's exactly how we use it. It's actually a really cool way. And it weirdly comes from curling, which is not famous for being super cool. But it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue here. Our next sentence begins, while one player throws, two other players furiously sweep the ice in front of the stone to help it travel farther and straighter.
好，所以下一句话就告诉你 ，While one player throws， 只要其中一个队员丢出了这个石斛之后呢，另外两个 two other players furiously 就是很急切的怎么样，非常非常。本来 furious 指的是这种很愤怒的，但这个地方不是很愤怒，就是很急切的要去 sweep the ice in front of the stone， 去赶快去清扫这个石斛前面要经过的这些冰。这样子的话呢 ，to help it travel farther and straighter， 这样子的话，石斛的这个行进的话，会行进的更远，而且会是直线前进，不然它会呈曲线的方式去绕。
They really do sweep super fast, and they're doing it on ice, so they have to skate sideways. They have to brush and broom super, super hard. It's kind of funny looking, and this is a good sport to be a big fat guy. Like, because you need a lot of power. I'm not being rude by that.
Okay.
Some sports you want to be skinny and tall, NBA. Some sports you want to be big and strong, right? And, American football, bowling, and curling, if you have a lot of power, that's useful.
Yeah.
This is a good big fat guy sport.
Yeah, 没错。如果你块头大一点，然后又比较胖一点的话，其实你力道比较多一点的话，你就会变得比较厉害的选手。
All right, let's continue.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the skip loudly shouts commands on how to brush the ice.
好，所以在这里呢，在此同时呢 ，the skip 还记得吗？是主将，对不对 ？Loudly shouts commands on how to brush the ice。他会在后面大声去喊说，要这样刷，往左刷，往右刷，稍微走这边偏一点。他会告诉你明确的刷法，用让这个球能够让这个石斛能够行进的更顺畅。
At the end of each round, the team with the stones closest to the center of the house takes the points.
好，最后告诉你 ，at the end of each round， 在每回合的最后 ，the team 只要这个队伍呢 ，with the stones closest to the center of the house， 好，只要你队伍的这个石斛越靠近这个中心点的呢 ，takes the points， 它就会获得胜利。那这个地方 takes the point， 它里面如果你去看的话，就变成是，如果说今天你的石斛外围马上就是敌方的石斛的话，那就是这个石斛得分。那如果说这个石斛外面还有你自己另外两个，然后在外头的话才是敌方的话，那你这三个都可以得分，所以他会说 take the points， 他不会只得1分而已。
All right, let's take a quick break. Hey everyone, welcome back to Enjoy English School. We're on day 1 and we're learning about the wintertime sport of curling. not long ago, I watched a video about a very impressive curling play. So this was the final stone to be tossed. And so that means there's a lot of stones around the house.
Right.
And there's a lot of, if he hits one, the other team is going to get the points. So he has to somehow get it to curl out and around the other ones. And this guy just throws it, and he shouts his commands, and his team furiously brushes the ice. And this guy's curling stone makes think of like a letter C. 你就是从下面写到上面. He makes like a letter C with this curling stone. This stone is like 17 kilograms, 20 kilograms. It's heavy, and he gets it to make a C. I could not believe how well he threw this stone.
Wow.
I'm not a huge curling fan, but I think anybody would see that and say, Man, this guy is good.
Yeah, 没错，老师刚之前看过一个比赛，非常非常神奇的，就是基本上它是最后一球，那全部一局里面到最后应该会有8个石壶在里面，所以它场上已经一堆石壶，它必须要很精准的去绕过这些，它中间挡住它的这个石壶，类似像写一个倒 C 的这种形状，只是反过来写 C， 先从尾巴开始写的感觉。你知道一个石壶大概老师刚刚提到说是20公斤重，所以说今天它要丢得多精准，才能够刚好绕开那些石头，像一个 C 的形状，反过来写的形状，然后绕到最后那个中心点，它那个目标地方，实在是很不容易。
So smooth, 超级顺利 really good. Let's continue here. The history of curling goes back to the 16th century in Scotland. Wow.
所以他告诉你了 ，the history of curling 这个冰壶的历史呢，好可以追溯到 goes back to 用现在式 goes back to the 16th century in Scotland 可以追溯到苏格兰，然后时间的话是在16世纪。
Leonardo da Vinci 的那个时候，这是很夸张诶 right? It may have started as a simple pastime of throwing stones across frozen ponds during the long, cold winters.
好，他说 It may have started as 如果你用 may have 然后 VPP 的话，代表针对过去的事件，你推测应该是这样子，但是你没有那么肯定，所以你会说 It may have started as a simple pastime. 本来开始的时候可能只是一个消遣，什么样的消遣呢 ？Of throwing stones across frozen ponds during the long cold winters. 是在很长的冬天里头呢，好在这个结冰的湖面上面丢石头这样子的游戏，这样的消遣而已。
Okay, and with that, let's take a break, and when we come back, we have our vocab review. And it's time for vocab review. Our first word is to get away with something.
To get away with something 意思就是指去做了坏事，然后没有被得到惩罚这样的感觉。
Number 2, to slide.
To slide 就是滑行，尤其在冰上滑行。
Number 3, a command.
A command 就是指令的意思。
Number 4 is a captain.
Captain 好，就是船长或者是在冰湖里面的队长。
And remember, the little boat captain is a skipper.
Skipper.
Number 5, we have a target.
Target 就是靶的意思。
Number 6, 超好用诶 as 什么东西 as possible.
As 什么 as possible 就是尽可能去怎么样。
Number 7, to sweep.
To sweep 就是清扫的意思。
And number 8, freeze, froze, frozen.
Freeze 就是结冰，好，它是动词。然后我们还有机会看到这个过去式 froze， 好，还有这边的 frozen 就是结冻的，形容这个状态。
All right, with that, we are done for today. But when we come back, we got a lot more of this history. I really like this story. I'm like, yeah, curling is pretty cool. So I hope to see you tomorrow. And for Enjoy English School, I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Anthony.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.